There's always something happening in the Fallout franchise. Even though it's a post-apocalyptic game, there's some mysteries that have been unsolved up to this day. So today we will go through some of those mysteries, so get your Scooby snacks, and let's go towards it, starting with the most unsettling one, an abandoned place that saw you leave. What happened in Vault 111? We have little information about all that happened in the time we spent in the vault, frozen. An experiment about cryogenic state, but everyone winds up dead anyway. Where did it go wrong? There are so many questions and so little answers from the start. As you may know, the vaults were places that experimented with the people. Plans, an unlimited budget, and also some of the most disturbing decisions and ideas. We can only see the aftermath, yeah. Sure thing. But never forget that all these sick ideas were created in the minds of people that never happened to see so much death and destruction as the people on Wasteland have. So who's the real monster here? The people that were assigned to live in those vaults were less than an experiment, treated as numbers, with some experiments so cruel that dying would have been a far better outcome. This vault was no different. It was a massacre, all right, with the experiment results ending in lives taken away as they pleased, and also, not by them, but surely made it easier, kidnapping a boy in the process. The real mystery lies in all the missing information that we are given, leaving gaps so we can use our imagination because we don't have anything else to rely on, all while trying to find out why all of this happens. Leaving questions like, how can the sole survivor, just like its name says, be the only survivor from all of those in the vault? No one can explain if it was pure luck, a strategic planning on the pod, or something more obscure. How an error made all of the other people fade away, and why only him remained alive. Sure, starting from what we know, the Institute ordered Conrad Kellogg to shut down the life support system, letting them suffocate to death. Grim, but orders were orders. Now is where everything becomes a bit more tricky. Okay, you may think that all of this is what really happened in the vault, and technically it is. You saw the memories after all, but stay with me. We aren't getting all the parts of the puzzle. The first problem is that the argument lacks consistency. How exactly only the sole survivor honored his name when they shut down the life support if he was also in cryostasis? Yes, I know that the game tells us that the decision of letting him out was from Sean, new director of the Institute, and also his son, the one who got kidnapped. You may think that everything is working out as planned, but no, because we have a few arguments that never got solved in the end. First and most important, it still does not match the actions of shutting down the life support. In the period of time that took Sean to become the director, how come if they did everything that they could to not let a single person live after that, still got us alive and well when they entered again to save our life? Or why exactly our pod was saved if Sean at that time didn't get to say the order? Even more, why is everything full of giant killer cockroaches when we wake up? If they wanted to see us alive, nothing makes sense, and the game didn't bother to explain those inconsistent pieces of information. If we add all of these inconsistencies of the information, then we reach the same conclusion as exposed at the beginning, that we don't have a conclusion, thus making this an unsolved mystery. This next mystery is connected to aliens, a common topic in the Fallout franchise. We will explore its origins and the impact they may have on people when you think you are in control of the unknown, the ancient crown. This next mystery is more related to an artifact that a person found during an expedition, granting him powers far from our understanding, leaving so many questions with few answers. To get ourselves a bit of context, we have to go toward the beginning of it all, where it all started, because it sure happened a long time ago. In 1894, Lorenzo Cabot went on an expedition to the Rub al Khali Desert in the Middle East, searching for proof of an ancient civilization called Ubar. Though this might be a myth, they took their chances, and with a group of diggers, they went and started searching for this ancient place. Little would they know that eventually they discover a sealed tomb with some ancient scripts. Once they remove its seal, they discover a sarcophagus that held within it an humanoid creature that had this crown over his head. This team fled out of fear. Then they saw this creature, but only a few, and Lorenzo remained. And then it happened. Lorenzo took the crown so he could study it. If he managed to get a good research out of it, you can say that he wouldn't have to go searching for another civilization ever again. He would live a life full of wealth, but he had other things. I don't know what idea struck his head, but the unthinkable happened. During a night of research, it happened. He wore the crown. With this in his head, he started to think more and more about what had happened, what they found, and questions started growing more and more. Was that really Ubar? Was it a human civilization? Are we not alone in the world? So many questions came towards his head, but with no answer, he thought maybe he should continue searching just to have proof of them. Like a good scientist, he began to realize that he was not the ordinary person that he was before. He started to notice he has more physical strength, also noticing that he had not aged as years passed by. But what is more important, he gained psychic abilities, but at a great cost, his mind. If this is truly an ancient alien artifact, then can they use the crown's full power without losing their mind? Then it happened. He noticed the unthinkable. He could no longer remove the crown. When he tried to do it, he would receive a great amount of pain as if it was a crown of thorns. He had changed so much. He was no longer the scientist driven by curiosity trying to solve the mysteries of the world. He has now gone mad. This only achieved that he was confined in the basement of Parsons State Insane Asylum to keep him from harming those around him. Along the way, studying the blood of Lorenzo, they create a serum that grants the ability to temporarily gain the same healing effects that leaves Lorenzo ageless. This seems okay at first, everyone accepts it, but in over 400 years, Lorenzo has remained the same. His son Jack, in charge of investigating the blood of his father, seems a bit different, like as if he changed, like he lost the purpose of this life, just continuing expanding his life with the serum that was created, but as time passes by, people start to notice and to question his actions, as if he just wants his family to live eternally together. With all the questions being thrown at him, he finally installs some things so they can start neutralizing his father's psychic abilities. Little do they know that this would trigger Lorenzo into a state of pure hatred. Jack would contract you, the sole survivor, to retrieve a shipment of the serum from a group of raiders that had intercepted it as they were delivering it. Wilhelmina fears that Imogen might be in danger and sends the sole survivor to find her, where he would discover that she had joined a cult and convince its leaders to let her return home. But what no one expected to happen, well happened. Lorenzo's psychic abilities have begun to overpower his prison, and he has gathered a group of raiders to invade Parsons State Insane Asylum. Edward is updating Jack of the current situation. Jack and the sole survivor make their way to Parsons State Insane Asylum to prevent Lorenzo from escaping. They arrive to find it completely overrun by raiders. Locating Edward wounded inside, they continue to fight through the raiders until they reach the basement where Lorenzo is being held. Seeing that the raiders almost manage to free Lorenzo from his prison, defeating the raiders, you can talk to Lorenzo, who will reveal his story and some of the secrets of the crown, though it's clear that Lorenzo has gone mad over his long isolation. Preventing the worse they made, Jack finally realizes that this is not his father anymore, and it is better to give him a good farewell instead of continuing torturing him in this cell. So they overdrive some generators, and then with their eyes closed, they flip the switches and killing Lorenzo. Jack tells the sole survivor that had he listened to his father and freed him, he would have killed his family, though Jack is sad that he has lost the ability to produce his immortality serum. Jack seems to have really believed that, with just a little more research, he could have cured his father and removed the crown from his head. But if 400 years of research wasn't enough, just how many years would have him taken so he can finally cure this father? The mystery here lies in what was civilization really about? Are they other civilizations capable of having different types of artifacts? Just how long was civilization in the world? Why did they go? What did they leave? And why did they leave artifacts behind? Now we know that there are things capable of giving superpowers, but is it the only one that has this type of ability? Or are they capable of doing the same thing? There are so many questions and so little that we know of that it makes it really intriguing just to think of the possibilities of what can still be in the world, waiting just to be discovered. In the next mystery, we are going to see and analyze if this lovely old lady has more to hide. Mama Murphy. Really? A psychic? Of course we all know who Mama Murphy is, but is she really the sightseeing fortune teller she claims to be? These are the biggest questions for this specific character. In our journey, we managed to meet this sweet old lady that claims to be a psychic capable of seeing the future, but there isn't anything that can confirm that she indeed has this power, especially of how they work. It is very strange the form that she manifests her powers. The way they work is by getting so high that she is capable of having a so-called sight, a form with which she explains that her powers manifest. She explains that she has it all her life, and using chems is the only way of activating this so-called power. Even so, the use of chems during so many years can kill someone. But this has yet to happen. I really do hope that the chems have other side effects other than death itself, because if I were to use them for a long period of time, I would probably gain the power to fly. Jokes aside, although this information that is given through the sight is really useful to the player in the game, it doesn't confirm that she really is a psychic. This may not be anything new, especially because in this world, almost anything can happen. We can go towards a more supernatural explanation, or even aliens, just so we can find answers for this mystery. One of the most famous and popular theories claims that she came across an artifact just like Lorenzo's crown, which grants him telekinetic abilities, immortality, and other perks. For me, this is something that can be very possible due to the circumstances and the way it activates. At the cost of his sanity, he is able to achieve all of these powers. So maybe, just maybe, she is hiding something that activates just by using the chems, allowing her to have a vision. If she really encounters an artifact capable of doing this, it will explain how in such a young age she was already capable of having the visions, but also it explains why the drugs haven't ended her life already. You can say that this old lady is not disturbing at all, but just think for one moment you find this old lady, gets high, and then it tells you pretty accurate in-game information that alone should be enough proof to get some chills down your spine. The Institute's true goal. Through all the games we have seen, the Institute has our main villains. They have not done any good over the years, at least not morally. They have achieved so much with their technology that it is almost scary to think that at some point they are going to replace mankind with their. They claim they're saving humanity, but to destroy vaults, settlements, and kill every person, just so they can get one pure DNA, as they would call it. It seems to be a little over the chart if you ask me, even if they are so proud of their Gen 3 synths that basically this is why they did all the murder over in Vault 111. Research vaults, get one pure DNA, destroy the people remaining, unless those pure DNA, as they would call it, are very, very special, but I don't get why they would do all these horrible things. Are they trying to be the new elite of civilization once they make enough Gen 3 synths? Are they working on a new gen of synths? Well, in this world, those who have power overall are the ones that do this kind of thing. It is only that they surge natural enemies that go against their beliefs, especially when your sole belief is killing just to preserve yourself. What we consider a mystery is that their true motives are very well hidden. They just stick with the same routine. No matter how advanced in technology they might be, the things that they have done just to get there, and also the secrets that they hide from us, is what this mystery is all about. Now, entering the creepy things and some very present all over the world, you better be prepared, because this might give you nightmares. The mannequins. This just got a little creepy. Mannequins often give you these uneasy vibes, and you just can stop thinking when they are gonna move. I think all of us have tried staring for so long at a mannequin just to try to see if they actually move. In this game, they sure made an effort just to have them all over the Commonwealth, and often found in very disturbing positions. No one knows who or what put them in those positions, and this is what makes it very disturbing. Who placed them like this? That is the mystery. We know so little about the mannequins present in the Commonwealth that it makes it very creepy. What makes it so disturbing is that there are some mannequins that have been placed with skeletons of human remains. And we saw one of them lying in the bed next to what I would assume to be a male skeleton just because the mannequin is dressed like a woman. Each time a look towards a mannequin, chills go down my spine. Why were they placed like imitating the human behavior pre-war? Or like having them recreated like some sort of invasion of another country? If mannequins weren't creepy enough, they had to give us this. Another fact that is worth mentioning is that there is this place, Fizztop Mountain, where you can find two little mannequins in what seems to be a cradle. Or that is what I think it is, resembling two little children that have passed away because they are over a flower bed that is within this object. In another location, we can see three mannequins surrounding a bathtub with a dead body in it while holding different objects. Not only that, in Far Harbor DLC, there is this one ship that transports the mannequins that are on the coast. If you are brave enough to investigate, you may find clues from the crew members that point out that they have caused the demise of everyone. I don't know how much time the crew was with the mannequins, but to start earring noises from where they were sure sounds very creepy. You can say, may it was a prank, but it or they sure went too far. Why do we say that they caused their demise? It is because no one was found from that cargo ship, and we only know some clues that say that they were making the noises, and others blame the mannequins directly. This leaves so many questions regarding the mannequins. Are they alive? Who placed the mannequins? Do they have a meaning? Are they playing pretend? Or maybe, just maybe, they are haunted? If and only if someone has this very weird hobby of placing the mannequins all over the Commonwealth, then maybe it is less than a mystery. But we still have to think if there is only one person capable of placing and recreating all what the games show. You can say this is a supernatural thing that is happening in the game, especially with these kinds of objects that we often see in horror or suspense movies. They sure are making it look that way, only that in here, they remain still. I do believe that somehow the mannequins got haunted and ended up with all of this mystery, because it doesn't make sense that they can cause so much like a shipwreck. Let's not forget that how they are placed, and that they are all over the Commonwealth, and also the weird and creepy positions or gestures that they are making leads to them being haunted. I mean, let's take for example the bathtub. We would take the time to bring a specific mannequins towards that specific location and place them carefully, but not only that, getting them an object that can fit in their hand just takes too much time. You are bound to be caught, not to mention the creatures you have to face, going back and forth. Using a little bit of imagination, I think that the guy in the bathtub was alone, and at night he started to hear noises. He woke up and he saw the mannequins already, with the object that they are holding. Somehow he managed to escape, and out of fear, he decided to hide in the bathtub just so it could be his grave. Don't you like this story I just invented? I almost look like a good detective. Continuing with the same style of mysteries like the one we just saw, we would about another one that is also very present in an island where people hang in what little hope or despair they have left. The Mother of the Fog. If we haven't had enough mysteries over in Far Harbor, the DLC of Fallout 4, it's almost as if this island was meant to be a place filled with mysteries. For starters, oh boy, they made sure to make this place spooky. When you arrived over the island, you already noticed that this place is not an ordinary one. The fog over it feels a bit strange, as it wants to tickle you. You never expected that this fog is a reactive one. And now, this is where things start to get juicy. From one point of view, the citizens of Far Harbor cannot live with the fog, so they often used fog condensers provided by a faction named Acadia. This act is the most vile and sacrilegious in the eyes of the children of Adam. Of course, we had to mention all of this, because this is when the mystery starts to happen. This faction treats the fog as if it was some sort of god, saying that only the truly blessed ones may see it as a real figure, being that one of a woman. We don't know if this is really something that actually happens, or is it some sort of secondary effect for being exposed for so long in the radiation, because there are people that say that they see it, but there is no proof of her existence. Some say that she is one with the fog, that the fog is her and only shows to those worthy, but also some that she is a person living in the fog, which I find hard to believe because of all of the radiation that is in the fog. The fog alone is a very scary and disorienting phenomenon. Now imagine one that tickles you when you come in contact with it. This is the main reason why the people in Far Harbor have an opinion on it. Some want for it to finish everything and cover the whole place up, but others just want it to go away. They hold on to so little hope or despair that they have left that it is, if they are hoping for the day of salvation to happen, or to the end of the world. Indirectly, it also influences the people that are not even a part of the cult of the children of Adam. Both just want a meaning other than death, and disturbing that this place is. And when someone looks for a meaning for something, it almost leads to the most religious thing possible. And this is why it is exactly a mystery, because we don't have a form of knowing what the fog really is, if it's just a radioactive fog or is it something else, something more religious or even supernatural. If anything of this would have happened, of course it will happen in Far Harbor, it is already a pinpoint for Unsolved Mysteries, and why not just add one more to the list? It leaves so many questions like, why would you look for salvation or approval based on the exposure to the fog? Why are they worshipping something that is very deadly? And can someone really see the mother? Although we really did see her at the end of a quest, this doesn't mean that the others have knowledge of her existence. It is purely based on people that said that they saw her. Like, for instance, the base in which the children of Adam are located, it is said that the mother of the fog appeared before them, and they decided to claim this naval facility, and called it the nucleus. More than using their own survival instinct, they are pushing faith and luck in the same direction. How come you can have as a deity something that kills you over time? This shows how over the years the cult starts to become more paranoid, thinking that only Adam will set them free. Is she really trying to end those who worship her? Why are they so entitled to maintaining their beliefs? Has everyone gone mad? This is a very disturbing, horrible, and painful way to die if you ask me, but also the hierarchy of the church seems a little off, don't you think? Why do they have groups that go out to look for supplies and other useful stuff? Why do they treat death like the ultimate form of salvation? Why do they keep passing the word of Adam? As disturbing as this might sound, I find that they use this as a form of controlling the people, thinking that it is okay to be exposed and be killed over time, doing what they want them to do without them having to worry about them not wanting to do it. This is easier to do if you think about it. For example, the lieutenant that was saved after they were accidentally sealed within a bunker, being the sole survivor of that group, he was convinced that it was Adam's gift, and with this in his mind, he joined the cult. There is so much happening around the fog that not only we had to see it in different aspects like religion or moral, this proves that the mother of the fog is really one of the most disturbing mysteries in Fallout 4, and it shows how something or someone has influence in a portion of a group, leading to the creation of settlements where people may share the same beliefs and the same faith. From the religious, supernatural, or even the lack of survival instinct of the people over in this mystery, we went the same route of beliefs, only that this was 2 stories of pre-war and a post-war. Even though they also shared the same faith, this is more dark than the one that we just saw. The Dunwich Borers. You know how the rich always have these very unique hobbies? Well, Dunwich was no exception. For now, we will put the references aside and talk about these unique places. To start off, I'll make a quick recap talking about the Dunwich building. Although it does not appear in Fallout 4, it is the start of every mystery regarding Dunwich. You can say this is an extension added in this game, because it is said that the mansion has a passage that connects it with the quarry. As you may know, that he is an owner of a quarry, but not just any quarry. It is a special one that has some unique secrets waiting for you underground. At first, it might look like another place raided by raiders for its valuables, but when you start getting deeper and deeper, strange things start to happen. You are now having hallucinations of things that happened in the past. In a blink of an eye, you suddenly in the same passage passage that you are now filled with 2 rows of candles. You do not know that has happened, but you put up your pants and start walking. What was happening here? What am I seeing? These questions come up in your mind as you continue. You know nothing of this place. From a regular and normal quarry, it turns out it has nothing of regular or normal. Suddenly another hallucination strikes again, but now you see some people worshiping something. Praying to what? We don't know. Let me ask you, if you are having some hallucination at the moment you are going down a quarry, would you still continue going to the bottom? At least for me, if I was having those visions, I would run out of them as soon as possible. You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat, but at least this is not what happens this time. Not only that, when you reach the bottom, you find yourself with a pod. It seems different from what you saw in the hallucination, like if a place was missing and if you take a good cold shower there, you will see it. The ritual room from your hallucinations, but underwater. Yeah, that's why I said that rich people have the most unique hobbies. How can you possibly turn your company into a meeting place for a cult? Unless they are worshipping a god of the mines or something like that, but I don't see how this could go unnoticed in the early days. Okay, don't worry, I know that this is not any mystery, but we had to look into that to get us in the same context, and to get you into the post-war script. You know how this world is very harsh and doesn't have many opportunities to make a living, but you have one of the more decent options. You're a raider under a faction called the 4's. Suddenly they offer to go to this quarry so you can work in finding iron and also extract the iron out of the quarry, as well as any metal scrap you can find. You know that a quarry makes a lot of money, so maybe, just maybe this is your only chance to make some cash and move into a safer place. Everything seems fine. You are looking for iron just so you can send shipments to a very well-known place in the Commonwealth, the Saugus Ironworks. You are working hard, the payments seem great, you already shipped 2 cargoes, everything is going very well, you feel so happy, and then suddenly, no one can be found, all of you disappeared like you were air, not a single trace of you or your team. The person in charge says that you went to fight off some ghouls and headed inside the quarry to get all of you working again, but nothing was found. Not even the person in charge. How come this is a mystery? Mostly because on the 2 timelines, pre-war and post-war, there is no explanation towards how they really disappeared. Was it all because they over-worshipped this entity? Or maybe there was something that was not supposed to be disturbed inside the quarry? I will never trust a rich guy. Imagine if they are all the same with the same cultist and weird worship hobbies. It is like signing our way directly to hell. This is what truly makes the Dunwich Borers truly a mystery. Why don't we go now towards a long-term mystery, one that has appeared in all of the Fallout games. From what we know, he is an ally. He has saved us so many times from the start. So let's see just how mysterious this man is. Who is the mysterious stranger? We won't be completed if we just leave this character out of this video. Who is the mysterious stranger? Although we can consider this as no stranger at all, we have history with him. We can almost call him our best friend just because he always comes out of nowhere and saves us by killing the enemies we are targeting. If he has appeared in all of the Fallout franchise, how come we know close to nothing about him? That, my friends, is why he always comes to mention when we are talking about mysteries in Fallout. He sees him doing so much that it almost feels strange how he is always at the right time where he needs to be. It is almost like he can travel through time. This is not a statement, but it is what I think that it is. How can you explain that he has helped so many people? And also, how come he appears all of the sudden? It is worth mentioning that he provides in-game assistance, but only sometimes, and only when we use VATS, the time-slowing targeting system that we often used in the game, so this lights up another theory. Is he actually a super speed being? Because how can you explain that we are only capable of seeing him with this system? But if we know something is even at supersonic speed, it should leave a trace of him just like the Flash does. Maybe we are overthinking that this person is such a mystery, and we have so poor information about it that it just makes us want to speculate and find a real answer. Another thing to point out is that we don't know if he ages, or if he is a different person through the years. He has had some different models that makes the mystery even greater, because now we are talking about organizations. Is there a secret organization that helps this post-apocalyptic world? You can say this is nuts, but I invite you to think about it. How come he has the same weapon and the same color of clothes? Sure, it does have some changes, but this proves my point of what I think about the organization. But let's not forget to mention that in some occasions, it has also appeared as a woman, providing a more solid point for my theory at least. If he truly time travels, then his sole purpose is to help us in our journey to achieve a bigger goal, one that can even shift the future. Not only that, Nick Valentine is investigating him too, but the difference is that all that he knows is that they might be rumors. But it is strange why in the year 2087 the mysterious stranger is more active. This is the only reason why Nick opens a case file in the first place, so maybe this year is where some people may affect directly in the future. But how come he can be in places that are so far from one another? Maybe they also achieved a form of teletransportation. Let's not forget that this is also also something that is actually present in the franchise. Something worth mentioning. Although it is not present in Fallout 4, it does have some mentions in Fallout New Vegas. For those who don't know, there is this character called the Lonesome Drifter. Your conversation leads to the fact that he is the son of this mysterious stranger, but he actually never met his father. But what is more strange is that he has the same weapon that the mysterious stranger uses. How do we know that? Well, it is very different from the ones in the game. Not only that when his mother died, he took his guitar and the gun, clearly the only thing that his father left behind when he abandoned them. So, come we can be so sure that he is the son of the mystery stranger? Why isn't he just like his father? Is abandoning the children really a part of the job? In the game where his son appears, he gets the time to chat with him, and he mentions that his mother says that his father was truly a mysterious man. That we wander off like if he had so many secrets to hide. It was like if he was a stranger. With this, we can say that one thing is for sure, that the role of the mysterious stranger is not inheritable, so there must be someone that makes you fill this role. What else can it be if you just leave for milk and never come back to them? And also, we can assure that they are not incapable of having children, so maybe this does assure us that they are a part of a bigger organization with the sole purpose of bringing balance to the world. There are so many gaps of information, and this is what makes it a truly fun and more theoretical mystery. We are just trying to solve something that we have yet to receive more info about. Fallout 4 has a lot more mysteries to uncover, but this time we only got the chance to see a few of them, leave some of them for the next time. If you enjoyed this video and want to see Fallout's most powerful weapons explained, click the video on the screen.